Netflix's new Jason Bateman thriller movie Remakes. This 69% Die Hard sequel, but does it even better. Netflix's intense new thriller Carry On remakes one of the best Die Hard sequels, but improves on the premise in some key ways. The Die Hard movies were so successful they spawned an entire subgenre, be it Die Hard on a boat, under siege, or Die Hard in the White House. Olympus has fallen. Carry On does nothing to hide its connections to the Bruce Willis classic, as TSA agent Ethan has to stop Jason Bateman's mercenary on Christmas Eve in an airport. Carry On casts Taron Egerton as Ethan, who is the type of everyman hero that Willis plays in Die Hard. Most of the genre tropes are correct and present too, including an intellectual villain and the hero having to use his smarts to save the day. Despite all the comparisons to the original, Carry On feels more like a remake of Die Hard 2. Die Harder instead. Both films take place in a crowded airport during Christmas time, but Netflix's thriller really milks the premise for all it's worth. Carry On makes better use of its airport setting than Die Hard 2. The original Die Hard was never intended to spawn a sequel, but it was way too successful for the studio not to press ahead with one. The follow-up takes place at Dulles International Airport, where terrorists are holding planes to ransom during a snowstorm. It's a unique setting, but after initially conveying the sense of chaos that comes with people traveling during the holidays, the airport setting fades into the background as McClane runs around underground tunnels or other locales instead. Carry On feels custom-built around its setting, with Ethan's TSA role being central to the plot. Audiences get a behind-the-scenes look into how an airport manages the holiday rush and the processes behind screening passengers. Director John Collatt-Serra, Nonstop, also does an excellent job establishing the geography of the airport and using locales like the baggage sorting area to stage a major fight sequence. As opposed to the more overblown set pieces of Die Hard 2, the action stays just the right side of grounded. While he felt like more of a regular guy caught in extraordinary circumstances in Die Hard, the sequel made Willis McClane more of a super cop. This includes being more willing to jump headfirst into gunfights or jump onto the wing of a moving plane. Carry On's Ethan is the opposite, and often has to push through his own fear to solve problems. Ethan is one of the more relatable protagonists the Die Hard on a blank genre has seen in some time, and the movie is all the better for it. In Carry On, Jason Bateman's villain sneaks a plastic gun past airport security. This is seemingly a reference to the controversial porcelain gun used by the terrorists in Die Hard 2. Die Hard 2 suffered from a common 1990s sequel problem. Die Hard 2 is a great action movie filled with memorable dialogue and set pieces. Of course, it still pales in comparison to the first entry, with Bruce Willis himself disliking Die Hard 2 for that reason. Die Harder fell into a common sequel issue from this era in that it simply remade the original, only adding a bigger body count and explosions. It's already stretching credulity that McClane would find himself caught up in another terrorist siege at Christmas, let alone one that also involved his wife Holly Bonnie Bedelia or reporter Richard Thornburg William Atherton. Die Harder is still a fun ride, and Willis is fantastic as McClane, but it often feels so close to the original, it may as well be called Die Hard 1.5. This was simply how studios used to approach sequels, believing all audiences wanted was more of the same. It does mix up the formula somewhat. The villain, Colonel Stewart, William Sadler, is a genuine physical threat to McClane, while the terrorists actually make good on their promise to crash a plane to prove how far they'll go. The sequel is still a fun ride, and Willis is fantastic as McClane, but it often feels so close to the original that it may as well be called Die Hard 1.5. Carry On would have made for a great Die Hard prequel. Carry On obviously has no ties to the Die Hard franchise, but it feels like some kind of prequel regardless. Ethan is a quippy underachiever expecting a child with his girlfriend Nora Sophia Carson, before suddenly being thrust into a dangerous situation. It's only thanks to his unexpected smarts and ingenuity that he's able to save both Nora and the passengers of an airplane. For his good deeds, Ethan finally achieves his dream of becoming a cop in Carry On's ending. A rewrite could have made the movie a prequel about McClane's first brush with a Die Hard scenario. There actually were plans for a sixth Die Hard dubbed McClane that would have followed a case from the titular detective's past, with Willis reprising the role in modern day, while a younger actor would have played John in the past. After years of development, the prequel/sequel was canceled in 2019. For those needing a Die Hard fix, though, Carry On is one of the best of the subgenre to come along in some time.